Welcome back to the Startup of Human Potential. We're your co
I'm
hosts,
Clifton,
and I'm
and
Victoria.
together we are Faces of the Future. Faces of the Future is a venture studio with a personal development platform at the intersection of consciousness, connection, innovation, and well being. We're excited to have you join us on our show.
Today's episode is brought to you by Kefir Lab. We have our first power couple on the show here with us today, Erika and Dario, co founders of Kefir Lab. Welcome.
Hi guys.
Erika and Dario, I'd love to get into a little background about Kefir Lab. First of all, do you guys want to become a trillionaire? That's one of the taglines that Kefir Lab uses to refer to the amount of probiotics that is in the product. And it's third party tested and verified. Their company has won several awards.
They each have an incredible list of accomplishments from TV appearances to speaking opportunities, including Entrepreneur of the Year award. And when they combine to create their beingness based business that's a byproduct of their own individual journeys as well as their relationship. And that is Kefir Labs.
Yes. And in today's episode, we'll talk about Erica and Dario each individually and Kefir Lab and how it's a natural byproduct of who they both organically are. And of course, gut health. We love gut health. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Love to be here. Love to be part of the show. Erika.
Yeah, love to be here.
Mario, to get our listeners up and running in terms of how you came to meet the lovely Erica. What's that story?
Kefir Lab, Kefir Love. So the lovely story behind us was that I moved to the States over 10 years ago. I am from Italy. You can kind of get it from my accent that I would never be able to like smooth. And working in food manufacturing, always in food, love, passion about food nutrition, food science. I got dived into this different conception of making food from the art of making food that we have in Europe to the
Mhm.
making food the more industrialized, more processed, slightly less nutrition now for
Mhm.
our bodies. And I didn't change my habits in having mostly wheat and flour products.
Mm.
And yeah, too much refined these products kind of make me, don't want to say sick, but I start to feel the difference. And
Mhm.
when I start to dive and dig into the probiotics, the gut health, food science, I met my lovely wife that she moved from Toronto. I would always say that she moved from me, but I would never know the story. And being from a family of microbiologists, we were able to link exactly what we were more capable of. Passion and food manufacturing on my side, and the science behind food and the science behind probiotics and gut health from there. And we merged this both incredible power
Mhm.
into a new category, a trendy one actually, that is rising hot on a market island and shelf that is functional food. So why do we need to get sick and only rely on pharma or supplement
Mhm.
or medicine, while we can just heal ourselves and feel ourselves the best every day and thrive
Mhm.
through food, through proper
Mhm.
food, through pure, natural, organic, wholesome form food. And that's the value of Kefir Lab, and that's what we're doing. Try to teach, educate, mention our customer and everybody that to have a beautiful, joyful life, we just need to stay healthy through
Mhm.
food, nutrition, proper exercise, mindfulness,
Mhm.
proper sleep, and all these things combined, there's no way you won't be able to enjoy, smile, and be happy every single day. Even depression or whatever makes you sad that moment goes away because your brain gets nourished from the energy of food and all this kind of other energy combined.
Mhm.
And here we are working and sharing our life together since 2019 regarding Kefir Lab. That's when we started.
Mhm.
And since a couple of years earlier, since the day we met in San Francisco.
Amazing. Wow. Thanks for sharing, Dario. There's a lot in what you just shared, and did I hear you say that, you worked in the restaurant business with your family and it impacted, like, the gut health or the microbiome or something? I remember you sharing in a previous time we met with you that you had to do, like, gluten-free eating. Is that something that you're doing now, or is, like, the probiotics helping?
Let's say that I was born and raised in Italy with
Mm,
mostly of our energy coming from starches and carbs rather than
yeah.
protein and fats. Something that here people wouldn't even understand and say, how can you get sugar all your that's carbs all day long? But that's our it's a different plant. It's a different living organism. It's a completely different type of wheat we're talking about.
Mhm.
People sometimes get even like cannot even imagine that you can get a whole pizza by yourself in Italy when here you split a whole pizza, a whole pie between 2 to 3 people. It's really the food itself is completely different. So I
Right.
was able in Italy to be raised with wheat.
Mhm.
And once I moved here 10 years ago, I didn't change my kind of
Mm.
diet. I
Yeah.
was while instead I would suggest people to get local. So if you move around the globe, try to eat local.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't do that 10 years ago. I started to develop some autoimmune disorders, some gut digestion issue, brain fog, of course, some weight gain that you don't really understand what's happening on you. I wasn't even 30. I was
Mhm.
still in my beautiful 20s. And I said, there's no way I feel like this. I feel like crap
Mhm.
just having food. So eating was making me sleepy right away. I say, food should make you plenty
Mhm.
of energy. You should eat food and go out there and run and be energetic. No, it can be the opposite. It
Mhm.
make you sometimes make you even upset that you are hungry because you need food. And you know the consequences would be underproductive, sleepy, and
Mhm.
fatigued. So that's what happened on me. I don't want to say I became gluten intolerant, but I
Mm.
became gluten fear. I was
Mm.
trying to stay away from it. And currently, I try to still enjoy gluten, but I'm more selective on the
Mhm.
type of gluten, on the source of carbs, where I made it, if it's organic, how it's grown, like biodynamic, because the processing of food is what deprive the food from its nutritional value. So the less, the better. That's my motto.
Gotcha, and I
Mhm.
love what you said about the probiotics just instantly helping you feel good, and the process that happens, is similar to what it's like to hang out with you and Erica together as a couple
Mhm,
to couple. We just feel good in your presence, and on that note, Erica, we'd love to
Mhm.
hear your story of connecting to Kefir Labs and what your, perspective is on how you created Kefir Lab.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to share that. And I guess my story came to be generations behind. My grandma used to be a renowned probiotic researcher, and she used to cure people through the gut. And she was studying from this guy. His name is Ilya Mechnikov. He was a Russian, but he was living in France.
Mhm.
And so my grandma studied from him,
Wow.
and I end up receiving a Nobel Prize for discovering probiotics and its impact on anti-aging. So he
Mhm.
discovered that as long as people have probiotics in their guts, they stop aging. And the reason people age is because their microbiome changes. So
Mhm.
my grandma was all about it, and she was curing people. She was making people that would lose hair. She would make the hair to grow back just from probiotics. And so I guess my dad is a biomedical doctor. So I have the whole family background of being more like a functional medical practitioners rather than just a general doctor. So
Mhm.
I grew up drinking a lot of probiotics since I was a little infant. And the problem happened is when I moved to Canada when I was 15, as of a sudden I stopped having these probiotics that my body was so used to. And I
Mhm.
started a little bit sick, like a little bit fatigued. Like I just stopped being myself in a way. And then I had to start learning making it myself. I'm a kind of
Mhm.
person that if I miss something, I'll figure out how to get it, how to do it. So I
Mhm.
started making it myself and I started sharing with neighbors. I had all my kefir jars, like my cottage,
Mhm.
Then I would share with neighbors. They would notice the difference. And then they would start making it. And then always people would encourage me to create a company. But I was doing so much stuff when I was living in Canada. I had my fashion startup. I was doing modeling. I was sitting in 2 universities at the same time. So I had a lot going on. It wasn't really a good time to create a company. And also, I didn't know anybody to create it beside me, and I probably wouldn't have done it by myself. So back to 2017, I went to San Francisco as a tourist, was just traveling. I just decided to take a cool trip by myself when I finished my bachelor's. And met Dario at his restaurant. I was just looking for some Italian food just because I know that it might be a better quality in US, and I was staying in a hotel. When I met him at his restaurant and we started chatting, and then we had a conversation, and then I left. Of course, how it happens. And then back when we started dating and then we started being together, I moved to San Francisco, not because of him, but that aside, fast forward to 2019, we created a company just because I was doing a master's degree and I created the project as part of my master's degree. And so that Dario was having his own job, but then he saw the amount of success that we're getting with Kefir Lab. The demand was high. The demand was high. He can produce, so he had to quit his job. He had to make some serious decisions to be an entrepreneur.
Wow. Yeah. So I love how kefir is a big part of your upbringing and background as a Russian immigrant. And I myself am a Ukrainian immigrant. So I grew up drinking kefir products. And I have to say, it tastes the best out of any I've ever tried. And I've had my share of them with my family for sure. And for some of our audience members who may not know what kefir is, can you explain what it's a probiotic, it's a dairy product? You guys have ones that aren't even dairy products. So, because I know a lot of people are dairy intolerant. Could you dive into that a little bit, please?
Kefir is a fermented milk and it could come from any base. And it's similar to yogurt, it's just more drinkable. It's something that can be have on a go rather than yogurt. You have to have it in a spoon. And how our kefir is different, how Kefir Lab is different from other kefir in the market is that we use completely different kind of probiotics. It's not just the yogurt cultures that are just meant to ferment milk and they don't reside in our gut. They're just like culture milk and that's it. We use scientific based probiotic strains that, thanks to my family generation of biomedical doctors, we formulate in our own lab. That's why we call Kefir Lab. And our kefirs and probiotic shots are particularly effective, and people usually can feel the difference right away. And people are able to cure different diseases, different autoimmune disease. Usually, people see really great impact from having kefir or at least some mood boost, as I remember Clifton.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of our dinners together.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for our listeners, the 4 of us got together at Erewhon, which sells Kefir Lab products, and I think we had this coconut one that I'm drinking right now,
You
or a
guys
sample.
have a version of that, yeah.
Yes, and
Or
Clifton
yeah.
yeah, so it's the first ever version of it. I think you had a mock-up label or something, it wasn't even manufactured. You're like, "Here, guys, here's some samples," and Clifton got blissed out, basically,
I
just
did. It was one of the
chicken.
most potent food as medicine experiences. I just drank some of it and I wanted to save some so I could continue to ferment it at home, but I'm not sure it lasted because it was so good. And we walked around the Venice canals here in Southern California in Venice Beach. And I just kept getting all this information and excitement about what these probiotics could do. And there's a difference when the probiotics are in a drink or in a form like this versus I've taken probiotic capsules and there just
Mhm.
seemed to be a difference. And Dario, really, I'd love for you to share with our listeners the science behind why I went through such a profound shift compared to taking it in capsule form.
Yeah, I believe the quote Dario said is, "You have to wake the sleeping probiotics," in his amazing Italian
Yeah,
accent.
I remember something like that. Yeah. Probiotics in food form, it's like considering the vitamin C and having a full orange. You don't get just the benefit of one single strain, two or three from powder that is definitely highly processed, encapsulated, sterile, shelf stable, outside from the fridge, you get a more potent, because here what we're looking for effectiveness, potent, something like really that it can make you feel the difference. And here we're talking about fermentation, the power of exponential growth. So you can add like some probiotics in the base and you can achieve doubling in size every 20 to 30 minutes. That's how the bacteria replicate naturally. So once you ferment for a few hours or overnight some product, you see that you were able to reach not million or billion, but trillion of probiotics.
Mhm.
In addition to our expertise in proper matching probiotics, strain, acidity, pH, and minerals, everything that help and aid the fermentation. But what I'm saying is that a proper fermented food can definitely cannot even be considered similar to a encapsulated freeze-dried processed PL.
Mhm.
Also because the bioproduct of fermentation isn't just a multiplication of the probiotic by itself, but it's a multiplication of so many different enzymes and other microbiological molecules of bioproduct of fermentation that they come along with fermentation and they get absorbed from our body and they give
Mhm.
you a boosting of benefit. So when you get an orange, you're not really having the vitamin C, of course. You're having
Mhm.
five vitamin C enzymes, phytonutrients, a lot, hundreds of different stuff, then some vitamin C powder to put in your water and drink it. You
Mhm.
can't compare it. Maybe it's the market. Maybe they want to market it that way. Maybe it's the industry that they want to push for
Mhm.
supplement. But if you're aware of nutrition and how food as medicine act in your body, you need the
Mhm.
complete picture. You don't
Mhm.
need just a single element. Sometimes even because of bioavailability, we're not even able to absorb that
Mhm.
nutrient without something else along with like some enzymes or some other ingredients. So the whole form of anything in nature is always better than the supplement form. That's what I
Mhm.
was trying to explain to Clifton that quote, saying always go natural.
Mhm.
Wherever there's no marketing, go walk in a store. Whatever is no billboard marketing or nothing related to ads, that's the food you want. So go on
Uh-huh.
a produce section. I don't need to market some lettuce. That's the food you want for your health.
That's a really great
I
point. I
love
love
that.
that. Yeah. You don't see carrots
Yeah.
advertising themselves. Buy me. You just know that
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and what you're describing, Dario, we're very familiar with. Clifton and I went to a seminar from Dr. Schultz a little while ago, not the foot doctor, the superfood green and super C, and all of his products are also made from like the peels of the oranges and acerola cherries, that rather than getting the like ascorbic acid, which comes from
Yeah.
China, and just
Yeah.
like the isolate. And he talks about how there's a lot of different, like, micronutrients in that orange that support the absorption of vitamin C, like you're talking about, that
Yeah.
some of them, we haven't even discovered them in a lab yet. Like, we
Yeah.
know some of the B vitamins, but maybe there's, like, vitamin B49 that we haven't found yet. But the
Yeah.
orange has nature's intelligence in it, like you said, so it already knows what's needed as, like,
Yeah.
co-absorption nutrients. I love that.
Erica, I really want to just anchor in that this has been a lineage
Mhm.
that you've been stewarding as well.
Yeah.
And so there's deep science to it. And instead of going to a doctor to get prescribed some sort of
Yeah.
remedy, they can either intentionally or unintentionally grab the kefir in a supermarket, right? And what has been some unique feedback that you've gotten, Erica, about the people who've used kefir?
Well, let's not forget the pleasure that we receive drink our kefir. And thanks to Dario Italian expertise and food that he was able to formulate that it's very tasty.
Mhm.
Or again, like having an orange, as we discussed earlier, versus again some peels. And in my opinion, everything in life has to be pleasure.
Mhm.
So I guess that definitely adds an element. Personally, I'm not against supplements. I think that there are some very cool supplements and they're necessary. But just an act of swallowing a pill makes me feel like I'm sick, even
Mhm.
though it might be a probiotic pill or whatever. That might be something for me. But just I prefer food as medicine. I
Mhm.
just feel like it's more the probiotics in food has been studied in generations, whereas like, encapsulated probiotic, it's something very new. Like we don't really know. And so I guess that's a big element of that. And particularly about the feedback that we're able to get, I know there is a lot of Reddit posts. There is a lot of stuff on the internet that people write about Kefir Lab. There was a lawyer, famous lawyer actually. He's a lawyer of Elon Musk and Jay-Z, and that he
Wow.
created a Reddit that he was able to cure SIBO within 4 weeks after having probiotic. Whereas he tried everything for 10 years. He had an access to the best doctors out there and nothing would ever help. He tried all of the antibiotics, he tried all of the medicines, and nothing would ever help. He said that the celery juice and Kefir Lab together helped him to cure his SIBO in a matter of 4 weeks. And I know that there are other people that would replicate his kind of like protocol and it
Mhm.
would be successful. So I guess that's one of the most recent feedback that we got, but we
Mhm.
have a lot of amazing feedback of people fighting different sorts of autoimmune diseases, depression, anxiety, fatigue, SIBO, IBS, leaky guts. There is numerous benefits across all the roads, and we did receive feedback from customers that was we're grateful for. That people always reach out to us every single day. Open my email and it just smiling all the time because people are just so nice and sharing everything that they been experiencing.
Mhm.
And so this is just a number of them.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
how are you taking all of this feedback and where are you taking Kefir Labs now? I know it's available in Erewhon and a few supermarkets. Where can our listeners find it and what's in store for the future of Kefir Labs?
Our products are available online nationwide and we do ship worldwide. After that Reddit incident,
Mhm.
we to open up our shipment so that it's more accessible for everybody in the world. So we do ship to Europe, we do ship to UK, we do ship to Australia, pretty much everywhere. And so the best way to get it is online through our website. We do sell it in a number of organic grocery stores. I guess it's 100 to 300 stores. I don't know that it would know it
Mhm.
better. It's mostly the organic grocery store like Erewhon Lessons in California. There is Central Market in Texas. So
Mhm.
different organic stores. Hopefully soon we might sell in Whole Foods and Sprouts.
Mhm.
Everything's getting there. But online is the best bet. And we do offer free shipping for everybody ordering in US.
Amazing, and we'll drop a link for where people can get a subscription or their first box of Keeper Labs in the show notes. All this publicity around, like, Reddit and celebrity endorsements for how it's, like, helped them and whatnot. I know, Dario, you were mentioning you've been contacted by other organizations to help with the dog food or something as well?
Being Italian, I love to chat with every single
Uh-huh.
customer, regardless of
Yeah.
the type of question they might ask. Might ask something about the shipping, might be a concern. I just
Uh-huh.
like start a conversation that sometimes doesn't even end. I just like keep going, like Italian grandma. No, I talk for hours and hours. I love to keep
Yeah.
relation with my customer, and sometimes on the phone, the text. He ended up that one of our customer were
Mhm.
using probiotics as a meal topper for their cats and dogs. And that was interesting for me. I shared with Erika, oh, they also give it to
Mhm.
dog and cats. And she was more informative than me. She said, of course, what do you think? They had this very similar microbiome as us as a human. So makes sense. They gave it to their dog and cats. It was like, wow.
Mhm.
And this guy ended up to have one of the biggest pet food company in United States, and
Mhm.
they like to develop a meal topper with us and supply all their 3,000 stores along the states. And that's a huge opportunity for us and also a big opportunity to share the
Mhm.
value of gut health and probiotics with the world, because I believe that we just need to keep educating people and our customer. I think it's a trend. Now it's still a
Mhm.
niche, gut health, probiotics, but I see in 10 years from now, everybody would like be conscious of what does it mean taking care of their gut. It's like
Mhm.
how long being fit. You know that exercise, proper exercise is important for your
Mhm.
brain health and your physical activity. So taking care of your gut will be something normal in the future. Even if
Mhm.
now it's still you want to get some a question answered. Why is that important? After it wouldn't be the why. You're just aware of it. And this for dogs food and this also for so many other different products that they are out there. They use preservatives or contaminants that they are artificially made. And
Mhm.
instead, through the power of fermentation, you can get rid of preservatives and extend the
Mhm.
shelf life in the most natural way, thanks to the lactic acids or the probiotic living in it and extend the product shelf life without adding preservatives. Why do you need to add preservatives? You can ferment the product.
Mhm.
So something very nice is that on a store shelf, you start pay attention. Here over here, the space in a store dedicated to the probiotics is little by little growing, 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 growing. So means that the consumers are more aware of it. So the
Mhm.
consumer create the demand. So we just need to be there and supply to the consumer. So I'm happy to see this space growing. Means people are
Mhm.
getting aware, educated on it.
Yeah, education is a big piece for sure, and you guys do a great amount of that. And I love that you're helping animals too. This podcast is called The Startup of Human Potential. And one of the reasons we have you on here is because one way to optimize your human potential is to optimize your gut, right? That affects your
Yeah.
performance, it affects your mood, as you said, and you're functioning as a high performer. And we're talking about dog and cat potential here too. Optimize the animals.
It's cool to mention also that artisanal made kefirs are made out of a SCOBY. It's a complex combination of yeast and bacteria. So some
Mhm,
people may be concerned about the presence of yeast inside the SCOBY because you replicate yeast that can damage the gut and also pets. You
mhm,
want to stay away from yeast. So what makes us unique
mhm,
is also that we found a way to extract the pure probiotic strain or the species of that bacteria, removing the yeast part. So we don't use any SCOBY. We inoculated the base with our own formulated probiotics extracted from the kefir grain. So
mhm,
there's no yeast in it. So our product is yeast free. And that's very important. That's a key to lots of people that they might suffer of some gastrointestinal disorder or
mhm,
pets that you don't want to feed them with yeast because you can do the opposite effect in their gut. So that's why they really love our product because
mhm,
it's also yeast free.
Wow,
mhm,
beautiful. And I know we can dive into science on science on science. And what's nice to know is that Kefir Labs has the science. And as
mhm.
Erica said, you also have a delicious taste. Right? Like, how did
Yes.
you make that? Because I know that it really is almost like chemistry or something in terms of the balance of sugars and fats and thing and that nature to grow them, and then also for it to taste good and
Yeah.
for it to be like the right texture or consistency. Can you help walk through that process and how your background really helps?
That that little started on me thanks to Erika because once I met Erika and we started living together, she was just replicating her staple food, that's kefir at home without buying the commercialized one. She never liked the one that she
Mhm,
bought on store, so she was making her own. I mean, I'm a very curious guy. I'm very interested in everything, and I like to taste food. I like to try. I like to play with it. And I
mhm,
was looking at these weird jars with something going on inside. I said, what's going on those jars? And she introduced me to kefir, to fermentation. It's something more on the northern culture of Europe, not the Italian, definitely. We know about yogurt, but not kefir. So I said, let me try it. But my first experiences with kefir was kind of off. I felt high acidity, I didn't like it. Wasn't really a pleasure experience. Was more the experience now, like, okay, I need to eat healthy. I need to eat sugar free. I need to eat something good for your gut, something good for your health. But you're
mhm,
already aware that the food tastes awful.
mm.
Why food needs to taste bad and be good for you? Can't you really find a combination, a
Yeah,
balance, and be healthy and good to taste at the same time? So
for
that
sure.
one was my job. I said, Erica, listen, I'm gonna make that thing taste good somehow. I don't know how
Uh-huh.
now, but I will make it good.
You put
And
some
I
gradient of
start,
passion into it.
yeah, and I start basically learning on. I start taking classes of food science, fermentation. I mean,
Mhm,
I kind of get some idea also from the wine industry in Italy that were very big about also aging process, fermentation. And I came out with this selection of some probiotic species that can either increase the acidity or not and give a taste profile to the base.
mhm,
Or as a byproduct of fermentation, you also get a flavor.
mhm,
So depending on the species you use, you get as a result a taste.
Mhm.
So you play also with the train that you inoculate the base to receive a taste.
Uh-huh.
So it took like 1 year, even more, in try different combination of species, and then I was able
Mhm.
to find a nice probiotic, actually
Mhm.
highly probiotic, because we can reach above 1 trillion, mild taste, flavor of that solution. So I
Mhm.
started giving to Erika to try and say, "This is mine, try." And she was like, "What?" So I love it. What is this?
Wow.
It's kefir improved, better. And that's, I don't want to say my job, but that's my
Mhm.
passion. Food is art. Art has to be beautiful. And in this case, has to taste great.
Mhm.
So I'm happy that you enjoy and appreciate the taste of our kefir, because I feel like grateful and accomplished for that part.
Amazing.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Sounds like complete food alchemy. It's like food science, but food alchemy as well. Pouring the love into it, the hours of research, the combining or mating the probiotic species,
Yeah, blending them.
blending. Okay.
And not sacrificing or stopping just at the science, but making it a full spectrum,
Yeah.
enjoyable experience. And
Yeah.
my question
Mhm.
to you, Erica, is did you imagine that this was how your company would grow? Coming from a family of microbiome researchers, oftentimes there's a very traditional approach towards building a business and finding a business partner. But it
Mm.
sounds like you just follow your gut, literally your taste, your desire for great food. How has this kinda unfolded, and is that sort of a natural philosophy that you have towards building a business?
I guess I could never imagine the exponential growth that we got with Kefir Lab. I could definitely imagine myself being an entrepreneur because that's the only thing I wanted to do in my life. I'm actually a very bad person to work for someone, and I fire me the first day because you tell me to do something, I'm going to do exactly the opposite. So I knew that my way is to be an entrepreneur because I'm a protagonist. I don't know if you know the Myers-Briggs personality test. So I like to create things. I like to make things happen.
Mhm.
And kefir was something that I was so passionate about. Like I was making it every single day. And I guess that is so my passion that I was really excited about making it. When we just released it on the market in 2019, our first was at the farmers market in San Francisco. And when we just came there, and we were like, you never believe you have this idea that something that you made kind of like in a home kitchen, nobody's gonna want it. And we put a very high price on it. Like the
Mhm.
first bottle costed, I think, $9. There was no organic certification, there was no label, nothing
Wow.
whatsoever. It's like a glass jar, and there was like something sticked on it, like, hey, it's kefir. And yeah, we got sold out in the first 2 hours. And then we did a pilot test in a very
Wow.
location. And then again, like we ran out of all the product in 1 hour. And then everything we kind of like showed the success. So we decided to invest in it and to make it a business. And I would never imagine myself being what I am right now without Kefir Lab. I
Mhm.
get because you never imagine the exponential growth that something can have.
Mhm. Just like the probiotics in your product,
Yeah.
exponential growth.
Yes. Only one thing that I know for sure is that doing the right thing, we haven't done any marketing up to date. Everything
Mm.
has grown organically. And not to say that I'm against marketing, but I just felt that it's going to dilute into thinking that you have a great product without you having a great product. So it's important to receive that feedback from people. And
Mhm.
it's me was always important to do something that brings value to people. And I always thought that the money will follow, the success will follow, and everything will follow kind of like just after that. So for me, that was the primal goal. And I guess I kind of knew that based on the amount of value that I give people, there would be an equal return in that. So
Yeah, absolutely, and as we mentioned earlier in the episode, Erica was awarded a Female Entrepreneur of the Year award, so congratulations on that, Erica.
thank you.
Yeah, it's so cool, and what Clifton's question was also alluding to is how when we're aligned to our passion, when we're working on a business that's a natural byproduct of who we are. Like, you are cultivating the kefir in jars, right? Creating like a home lab. Dario comes along, brings in the passion and the taste buds and the food science, and it grows and it becomes a natural byproduct of who you are. And like you said, the money flows as a natural byproduct of providing that service, of creating that value for humanity. I love that.
So now I feel like our listeners understand Keeper Labs if they haven't already gone online to buy it. It's amazing. And wanted to spend the next segment kind of diving into the dynamics, of the power couple, of working on a
Mm.
project together, wearing different hats. Sometimes you have to have uncomfortable or challenging conversations as business leaders, but then you're
Mhm.
also business partners and you're also living together and all of this fun. And to see Victoria, where should we start on this very juicy topic?
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting discussion for the 4 of us to have because each of us are in business with our partner. We wear the hat of relationships, we wear the hat of, living together, we wear the hat of business co-founders. And, like, how do you guys stay balanced in managing all the different hats? I know you have a lot of good role differentiation in Kefir Lab. So, how else do you guys navigate that multi-hat nature?
I want to begin saying that it's not as simple. It's not as simple as you said. I
Mhm.
think we're here today talking, and the universe is here because of the balance of everything. Because of the balance, we are where we are. So if we want to mm, keep our relation going as a married couple and also see our company succeed, we always need to prioritize balance of these
Mhm.
two energy and priorities together.
Mhm.
If you give too much attention to work, you might see a boost in the work, but for the short term. Because whatever you are lacking and missing from the opposite side, that's your private life, will
Mhm.
interfere and plateau and drop drastically the performance of the job. And
Mhm.
same would happen reversed. If I stop even thinking about work and from tomorrow we on think about ourselves, that's beautiful, would probably see a drop in a work performance. And maybe also in our relation because the work performance and the financials that drop may
Mhm.
bring consequences to our private life. So I feel that you always need balance whatever you're doing. And because we are not going in a straight, smooth, linear way, your car during this adventure always tend to shift right and left.
Mhm.
And is your job, your duty, your responsibility to keep going back to track like a train.
Mhm.
Sometimes tend to one side you want to put it back and then you want to put it back. And being in balance with regular up and down, that the downside of it that not necessarily means bad, but it means as a boost for
Mhm.
a further growth, is that the trend need to be always uptrend.
Mhm.
And beside this up and down, both in work and private life, you want to see the big picture of the long run.
Mhm.
And I believe in a balance. So you should be a super human in this case and being
Mhm.
able not to do one thing,
Mhm.
but two things that both are your priority. So you
Mhm.
cannot say one or the other one, but both of
Right.
them to keep them on track. So you don't have to focus on performance, but you have to focus on keep it in balance
Mhm.
together because it's the balance of it that build the performance of both of them combined. So I
Yeah.
believe in a balance of work and private life, especially in a married couple,
Mhm.
to be able to grow both sides of the business and our life together.
Yeah, absolutely. And something Clifton and I talk about a lot too, because we talk about entrepreneurs and living their total life of joy. Total means you're not sacrificing the other areas of life for business success. And in a relationship partnership like this, it's especially crucial, right? Because, like you said, you're working on that uptrend and having awareness and balance of when things are falling out of alignment, going off track. So, yeah, Eric, I'd love to know, like, how do you guys know when things feel out of alignment, or how do you guys have the awareness when things might need to be shifted more into balance?
Gut feeling.
Yeah.
Well, it's challenging. I won't lie. It's still challenging to this day. And
Mhm.
I guess going more to practice, we decided to put boundaries on when the work they finish. I know Clifton taught us something fantastic. I don't know, or maybe it was your idea initially, but I remember when we met, he had a gratefulness alarms. So
Mhm.
that's a really nice practice to have. And for me personally, I believe that investing in yourself since the morning, like powering yourself up for the day with energy. I have a very strict morning routine. Getting into the flow, I guess
Mhm.
that most important that would affect my performance during the day. And
Mhm.
then knowing when to stop working also it's important. Like when it's done, everything would
Mhm.
wait at next day. And because, especially for females, I think it's way more challenging than for a man because we have to balance, in order to be a great partner in the relationship, we have to express our feminine energy. And that's, in
Mhm.
my case, it's my dominant energy. I do have a pretty tight balance. I do have a lot of masculine energy too. But in order to excel in work, we do need to express our masculine energy. And knowing when to
Mhm.
switch, it might be challenging.
Yeah.
So it's really challenging to know. So putting some boundaries, just as like timing, for example, for us, we finish our work day at 5 p.m. and then it's done.
Mhm.
And then I'm awake.
Yeah.
Sometimes you still have that. Usually I like to do some sort of a meditation or something just to kind of like, or going for a walk, just to have that
Mhm.
break. I mean, Dario doesn't do that most of the time, but I know he stays more in the masculine energy. He can stay working until like midnight. But for me, it's important. And as we know, usually the woman brings the energy in a family, in a house. Usually it's
Mhm.
kind of like, I don't want to say the woman job, but the main influence usually comes from a woman. So I think it's an important work that the woman should do, getting the energy right.
Mhm. Yeah, there's several interesting things in what you just said, Erica. One, I wanna hear about your morning routine some more, and two, the whole balance that you're talking about, the masculine and feminine energetics of being the CEO, boss lady, co-founder with Dario, your partner. There's a lot of masculine energy you have to bring into work, and Clifton and I navigate that as well. And then, like, shifting into that feminine, more receiving, more nurturing, cultivating the family, setting up the right container, right? Like, the masculine's more driving and the feminine's more of that container. Yeah, Clifton and I talk about this topic quite a lot too, because you wanna create some of that polarity in the relationship, so you're not, like, masculine driving energy. So, yeah, maybe I'd love, Clifton, if you'd chime in on
Yeah,
this
I would
too.
love because we have both of you here. Dario, if you could share your
Yeah.
reflection on what Erica said. Like, do you notice this shift? Do you stay in your masculine? How does her conscious choice at 5 p.m. to switch roles and switch your energy, how do you feel it? And do you follow the same kind of pattern, or do you have something that works for you as well that's different?
I feel that it's important to, I don't want to say that it's like acting, but once you are during your business hours and you are an entrepreneur, an employee, or you're like in your work mode, you're like your iPhone switch to on. You have to remind yourself that you're working. Of
Mhm.
course, you'll always keep pay attention to your other half that can be next to you working remotely or somewhere else,
Mhm.
because you still are responsible of your, you still are responsible whatever it is about your family. But work can bring stress, anxiety, sometimes joy, can be any type of
Mhm.
emotions. So that emotions need to remain in a work hour
Mhm.
because, of course, I don't mind to bring joy at home. But sometimes work, we know, especially when you have your own company, might keep you being outside.
Mhm.
So you can be physically there, but your brain can be somewhere else, and that one take out time from your family time. So you should be able really to disconnect with work once you get inside home, because now you have a different job
Mhm.
that you cannot prioritize again. But if I have to choose, family first.
Mhm.
So keep your work mind outside the door. Bring your family energy as a husband, as a dad, if you have kids, at home. You can't have both at home because they will look at you with someone physically there, not
Mhm.
mentally there. So you're doing your job halfway. So for what Erica said, I'm still learning because with word it's easy, with fact it's different. I'm still learning, but I would recommend it on your commute if you're driving from work to home or from walking or taking the elevator up home to close your eyes, feel breathing, remind yourself, now I'll be a different person. Now I'm a dad. Now I'm a husband. Now I'm in the nest of
Mhm.
love. Work is outside this door. Don't mix them both because will damage your relation. So that's what I still learning. Life is learning, but try to improve myself. Work
Yeah.
hours, other work hours, pleasure. Let's say work. Sometimes people can associate with workout, physically, like mentally, like hard. No, it's a
Mhm.
pleasure. But let's say let's call it work. Once you get home, you have another job to do. The first one, family.
Hmm.
That's beautiful.
Wow. And it's a practice. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a practice navigating that balance, and each time you maybe make a mistake or step out of alignment, it just brings more awareness to how to do it better next time, right? You're kind of build, measure, learning the relationship and the multi-hat nature of this partnership. What about if you're working from home, both of you guys? Erica, do you work from home mostly?
Most of the time, yeah, I
Yeah.
like to sometimes I go to, Erewhon.
Yeah, of course.
But honestly, to be honest with you, I do most of my meetings while I walk.
Mhm.
I don't know if you call it from home.
Okay, got it. And Dario, you're mostly working at the manufacturing space or
I I really work from everywhere. I cannot say I'm very like energetic person. I need to
yes.
move. I need to feel the freedom. I need to if I feel to be home, I like to be home, but I cannot
Mhm.
stay a long time at
Mhm.
home. So I move from the manufacturing facility to like a common area where you can work, co-working space,
Mhm.
home, meeting with other people. I like to move.
Yeah.
I want to feel that I'm working from everywhere I feel that day.
Mhm. Got you. Yeah, Clifton and I both work from home. He's in one room, I'm in the other room. And it takes a lot of awareness, understanding which hat we're approaching a certain topic from, and, like, trying to maybe compartmentalize isn't really the right word, but allocate the feelings. Like, if they're feeling some kind of frustration or resentment, it's like, "Oh, I'm feeling it from my business partner role," or, "Oh, I'm feeling it from my relationship partner role."
Yeah.
And making sure, like, we have that conscious awareness about which item we're addressing when we're talking about any tension and coming to a
Yeah, I love what you
resolution.
said, Dario, about it's almost like a play because we teach a quantum view, a quantum perspective of reality. And we talk about you're creating a morphic field or a morphogenetic field that you can just imagine like a
Mhm.
bubble of energy that you're stepping into that represents you in your relationship with Erica, you and your family life. That when you step into it, you're interacting with it, you're cultivating it, you're nurturing it, you're building it. And then when you're in business, you're stepping into a whole different field of energy that has different
Mhm.
results. And so, what we talk about is to be very clear on who you are as an individual. So that way, when you enter into these different containers or these different energy bubbles, you can operate in a way that's in alignment with who you are and what you'd like to see. And just building these mental frameworks and perspectives can help create differentiation of what conversations need to happen where, what emotional processing needs to happen when, and just to be able to build a greater sense of discernment as to what to say, what to do, and where to go. Because as you guys have demonstrated very well, it sounds like, is the boundary between Kefir Labs and the
Mhm.
family that you're creating, right? And so those boundaries exist not just in time, and that's a really great starting point is to mark it off. But there's also energy, and you said it beautifully, Dario, about your
Yeah.
mind might still be in work and you've got to bring it to the present. So how do you stay present, stepping into these different roles? And I feel you two as a couple, at least from our perspective, and of course, we know in our relationship, we're presented to the outside world in a certain way, but that's not necessarily a full story. What are some of your go-to Erica, you mentioned you have that morning routine that gets you in the flow. What are some things
Mhm.
have really worked in those situations where there might not have been harmony and there might have been a messiness? Some people go to a nice restaurant, some people do a bubble bath, some people go on vacation. What are some of those toolkits that you two use in your relationship when you need to really nurture it?
It's a question to Dario, I guess, right?
To either,
Either.
yeah.
Yeah.
Erica, what comes to your mind? Yeah, well,
You
I'll
want
just point out, Erica, what comes to your mind that you nurture the relationship from your feminine perspective?
I guess, in my opinion, the best thing for me to do is just to go for a walk, or I just drive to the ocean.
Mhm.
I go to swim. Usually that's what I do. To be fully honest with you, we don't do much. We should do more like of a bonding activities, things along the line. I guess that would be productive. To
You
be
say
fully
Dario
honest,
wants to be productive?
I mean, I want to be transparent. I don't want to create things up that don't exist.
Mhm.
But other than that, the way I try to keep the harmony at home, I think the most important is when there is kind of like a fire, you don't make it bigger. Like when I see him being upset, or when you see a person being upset, that's not the right moment to kind of like gravitate the situation more. The best moment is to like stay quiet, and then you can still insert your opinion or whatever, like if you're unhappy with something. But I don't feel like the right situation, the right moment is just in a moment, because then it's going to create like a mess, and you're going to be unhappy, and like your energy is going to be also involved into that. So I
Mhm.
guess that's on my personal level. That's what I found it's useful for me.
Mhm.
But to be honest with you, yeah. I cannot think of any bonding activities. We do go for vacations, usually quarterly. That's important just to like get ourselves out of the situation we're in, the place that we're in, the house, everywhere. And we usually go for longer vacations, about a month. It's usually in Italy. So I
Mhm.
guess we always come back with fresh ideas and fresh energies.
I want to believe that the first bounding activity is to bound with yourself
Yeah.
before
Mhm.
thinking to bond with the other one. So
Mhm.
since the moment you wake up, everyone can have a different routine that are
Mhm.
only made to balance, boost, or amplify your feeling at the moment. Erika mentioned about me seeking for performance.
Mhm.
Because that's what my body needs. I wake up, I'm happy to be alive, I'm happy to do something new for me, for the world. And I can't wait that energy like come out from every single part of my body. What trigger more energy to me is sun and sweat. So the
Mhm.
idea of waking up and go outside under the sun having a run, it's what brings me like the energy to set that standard for the rest of the day for me to keep being energetic, chatty,
Mhm.
talky, like energy bring energy. So even the first meeting you can have at 9 a.m. if you're ready for it with
Mhm.
not with coffee or the long line at Starbucks, like, oh, I need the coffee to wake up. No, no, no. You just need some sun on your skin and some sweat
And an
to
Yeah,
optimized
maybe
gut,
some
yeah.
probiotic.
and optimize gut to be able to do your first meeting in a day with that so much energy that at the end would be remarkable. People wouldn't believe it that you have so much energy in the morning. So the goal is to be remarkable. First impression is the most important. So that's what triggered my energy. I see on Erika a routine based on yoga, meditation, something more spiritual, breathing exercise.
Mhm.
I would do definitely that type of routine myself,
Mhm.
but I feel maybe it's more whatever bring me
Joy.
outside from the work hours. So I'm saying
Yeah.
maybe that was something that I would do after 5 p.m. instead of the beginning of the day.
Mhm.
It's just like a reverse. And I don't want to say that's wrong, that's good. You should listen to yourself and see what you
Mhm.
need.
Sounds
And
like
bonding activities are definitely the routine of the couple. Can
Mhm.
be cooking together, having food together, go for a walk, go grocery shopping. So everything that make you feel part of something together,
Mhm.
vacation,
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah, yeah, and what you're saying about bonding with yourself first and understanding what routine you need to optimize yourself so you can show up as the best version of yourself. You're saying how Erica's routine looks different from your routine, and, Clifton and I just talk about it, like, whatever brings you joy.
Yeah, yeah. It's little disconnected from what we're talking, but I believe that you are the reflection of your business to your consumers.
Mhm,
So founders are the culture of the business. So
mhm,
whatever you are, it's reflected on the business. So if you're organized, disorganized, friendly, chatty, shy, that's also the brand. That's also
mhm,
your business. It's just the reflection of you, just a mirror of you.
mhm,
So creating, be yourself always help because make things always easy.
mhm.
If you want to be someone else that you know naturally are, you wouldn't even believe from others because you cannot lie. So as we are chatting with you, talking with you, sharing our opinion with you, that's
Mhm,
how probably you can see from our landing page. If you go on our landing page of the website, you will see like smiling people, chatting, saying the
mhm,
truth, and talking about their health story. Yeah. That's us. That's us. That's Kefir Lab. That's Dario. That's Erika.
mhm,
Um, whatever values, mission, everything we aim for is what we
mhm.
really believe, not just what the business it's meant to be there to be profitable or getting clients or attention. No,
Right.
no, that's us. So always stick to truth and stick to your belief first because the business will be your exact selection.
Yeah.
And build your culture and stick with it. Be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, what you're talking about, Dario, isn't off topic at all. It's actually what Clifton and I talk about with our clients about how whatever is going on with you is gonna show up with your business, and it's gonna reflect how you operate. And when, people have, like, an issue maybe in their, like, emotional self, they might have an issue connecting with their customer or with their colleagues, with their co-founders, with their clients, like, whatever. How it's, like, cross-linked to it maps perfectly in our proprietary framework. It's exactly what we talk about. You're spot on in what you're sharing. And
We love that. We love that you have come to that yourself, right?
yeah,
Because that's what this framework is. It's just
yeah.
an observation of what success is from more heart-centered and authentic place of entrepreneurs, of change makers here making incredible businesses
Mhm,
that take off in their own way, that faster or in a different way than you could even imagine because you are aligned to yourself, because you are aligned to each other and
mhm,
aligned to the business and the belief of what the business stands for. And see, as we move
mhm.
it to wrap up, I know we'll definitely have you two on in the future. I just wanted to say, where could our listeners connect with you? What's the best way for them to interact with you? Because you have so much wisdom yourselves.
I would say the best way to connect could be definitely through our contact page on our website. We like to be there. Sometimes it's even like weird receiving emails from founders,
Mhm,
CEO, Erica, but that's
mhm.
us. I don't have to delegate the customer service from some outsider third party company, logistic. We are the face of our company, and I'm there to reply your answer. And most of the time, and I'm thankful for it. It's Erica that she always take care of the back end of our email and contacts with customer. And that's probably also what makes us unique. I mean, you
Mhm.
can send it, well, I don't want that from tomorrow any type of topic come out, but you can just say hi and I will reply to you, hi, even
Mhm.
through an email. I listen to you, I'll reply to you. We are always there for customer and I will be there replying. Yes. Emails, websites first, Instagram. We take care ourselves for our page.
Mhm. And
And
that website is, kefirlab.com, and
you're right,
Instagram is at Kefir Lab?
Kefir Lab. Yeah,
Yeah. And we have a code for 10% off your purchase with the FOTF 10 linked below in this episode. So I just want to say how much I really enjoyed this time with you both and sharing the airtime with Clifton, my partner, hearing about your partnerships, your dynamics together in business. I loved hearing a lot about the relationship dynamics actually too. And gut health and boundaries is a whole separate topic that we can talk about on another podcast about just planting a seed there about how having good boundaries with relationships and with one another comes from having good gut health. So, just planting a seed for a future episode with you guys. That would be an interesting topic for me to cover and hopefully you guys as well. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And as we mentioned, the contact information for Kefir Lab is below in the show notes.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.